Hi there. All right. Um, this is the Black Opinionated Woman, also known as a Bow, and I figured let me have just a quick little live stream. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about black women. Are they cracking up? What's going on, black women? Are we damsels? I don't know. Okay. All right, let's see. I'm hoping that you guys can hear me. I'm not sure what is going on. It appears that the sound is being shady. But anyway, yeah, so I want to talk about what's going on with Black women. For those of you who saw the thumbnail to this, it has a picture of Wendy Williams, Simone Biles, and Naomi Osaka. So, one of the things I wanted to talk about is why now are they struggling? What's going on with Black women? Are we becoming damsels? Now, the damsel name that I use, I don't know if it's a little bit clickbaity because the definition of a damsel is a young unmarried woman. Now, putting aside Wendy Williams, the two ladies I mentioned are young and unmarried. But I think the sentiment, you know, I think people get the sentiment. Are Black women becoming damsels? Or rather, maybe damsels in distress? Because there is imagery associated with this whole. Oh, my phone is like blowing all the way up. There is imagery associated with being a damsel in distress. Someone wanting to come in and like men wanting to come in and rescue women and save them and solve them and fix it. But the interesting thing is, why are Black women struggling right now? And I think a lot of it has to do with being tired. Now, I am not so sure if people are familiar with all the various stories going on. I will use Simone Biles, for example. I know that there was so much pressure put on her to perform at the Tokyo Olympics this year. It's 2021, although it was supposed to be for 2020. But she had some family things going on in the background. She had all this pressure on her shoulders, and she had some family things going around. That was my understanding. And she got to the point where she was like, I can't do this anymore. You have Naomi Osaka, who's been dealing with, I think, anxiety with being in front of the media. You have a lot of things going on. And then, of course, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on with Wendy Williams, her addictions, the divorce, the loss of her mother. My understanding is she may have some, I think her relationship with her son may be strained. Again, everything I'm saying is just my opinion and alleged. Um, but yeah, I mean, like, so, and those were just the three that I mentioned. I guess I could bring up, let me see if I can just bring up some of these images here. You know, I remember looking at Naomi Osaka after several of her, interviews, and like I look at this face and the inner turmoil she's dealing with, right? And there's so many people I can bring up. Wait, I'm still getting used to this. Let me get my mind together. I am so sorry, people. Okay, look at that. Look at that face. Now, I mean, it's easy to pull up all kinds of images. I mean, to I guess fit whatever narrative that someone wants to share. I'm gonna pull up something else. I just want to make sure people see these. You see that? Why can't my kids just be quiet? So I think about all the Black women who are out here and they're in this spotlight and they are at the top. If everyone that I just put out there so far was at the top, is at the top or was at the top. Look at Wendy Williams. She carved out this space in daytime talk TV. Okay. The platform she has is phenomenal. I'm not saying that I'm like this huge Wendy Williams fan because she's gotten so mean and just nasty. And I guess that's the job that she signed up for. But for me, my personal ethics would have kicked in. But I think the thing is that oftentimes people don't recognize that she's still a human. Although it's, when you do things, it can come back on you. But the point I want to make is, there was this unspoken perception, well, spoken perception of Black women being super strong and sassy. And I'm not going to take that from you. Um, I was supposed to upload this video on, and I still haven't. I don't know why, about shade, read, and drag. Oh my, that was going to be the title, and I still may upload it. There's this perception that Black women want to read and they want to shade, and they're so tough and they're so strong. Well, I hate when they say that we're so strong because they apply masculine traits to Black women. I mean, we are still quite feminine, contrary to popular belief. Now, what I am saying is, I think Black women have gotten to the point where they're like, I just don't care anymore. They're tired. What am I like? I think they're tired of meeting everyone's expectation. I think they're just at this point where they're like, I have to do something to take care of myself. So I'm going to move on from that. Okay. We're going to talk about this. I think that Black women at this point are starting to recognize that they have to dispel this notion of being strong. I don't think showing vulnerability and pain and that type of thing means you're not strong, right? I mean, you're human. But I think we're seeing this thing with Black women. They're becoming much more vulnerable. I might have another photo. This is the one that I like the most. Let me get my mind right here for a second. This one right here. People tried their best to tear down Serena Williams. And for those of you who don't know who she is, I mean, you clearly must be living under a rock, but this is only the GOAT in women's tennis. I mean, I did not stutter, but she's been through a lot. I'm not going to talk about all of the singles titles that she's won, or the doubles titles, or the mixed doubles titles. We're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about the impact she has had on changing the sport in style, like how it's being played, or how she brought her own sense of fashion. We're not going to talk about how she dominated with her sister. We're not going to talk about how she's worked with her sister to get certain things changed within the sport. No, we're not going to talk about those things. We're going to talk about all the other things that she's had to endure, being called names, all the microaggressions that she's had to endure, her health challenges, people questioning her desire, people, they were just coming for her internationally, um, locally, And when I remember when she was playing Wimbledon, you know, that's one of her favorite tournaments, and she had to withdraw. She hurt her leg. And I was looking at the pain on her face. When you see, you're starting to see Black women show tears more. So I think what we're starting to see is that Black women are women. That doesn't mean that women just engage in crying all the time. But I think what we're seeing is like this evolution of the Black woman, of what's being shown. We're seeing them say no, even at the top of their games. We're seeing them saying, no, I can't. I'm tired. I'm hurting. When she had to, withdraw, I believe this was the current Wimbledon. But yeah, yeah. I don't know. I think Black women are allowing themselves to be more vulnerable. They are allowing themselves to be seen as a human. Hold on a second. I'm going to mute myself for a moment. had to yell at my children. So, anyway, the point I'm making is Black women are allowing themselves to actually be seen as human. They are allowing themselves the opportunity to be vulnerable. They are allowing themselves the opportunity to show, their pain. That brings me to the third thing. When I talk about are they being damsels, I think the fact of the matter is Black women are saying, like, I have pain. Look at me. I need a mental break. So Naomi Osaka was a perfect example. She's like, I have to take this time. Simone Biles, I have to take this time for myself because I have pain and it may not be physical. You know, they're saying, look, I have pain even in my, whether you like this person or not. Let me bring this back up. Let me get my life together here because, I'm terrible at this whole situation. This is situational. I'm going to bring this back up. As much as pain that she has caused people, you know, some of the things that she has said has been highly inflammatory. Nevertheless, I think people are seeing that she is a human. She is a person. I think now, granted, she's done a lot, but I think what people are seeing is like, oh my goodness, this woman is hurting. When you allegedly are willing to um, self-soothe, what does that call it? It's like a salve. When you're willing to self-soothe with alcohol and drugs or whatever it is, allegedly, no, let me put my ticker back up. Hold on, let me get my life together. When you're willing to engage in certain things, clearly this person is in a lot of pain. All I'm saying is Black women are willing to show a level of vulnerability that most people don't expect from them. And there's others that I could have mentioned. I think Michelle Williams mentioned that she had a bout with depression. There's so many Black women who are willing to say, I am hurting. We're seeing a shift. They're saying, I'm hurting. I think in the past, the media never recognized Black women in their pain, especially when they would find that their children were being shot up and that type of thing. It was as if like they weren't human. And we're starting to see now there's a shift happening. Black women are getting to the point where they're saying, look, I'm not going to carry the entire nation on my back at the Olympics. I mean, it is what it is. I got to call a thing a thing. Ultimately, I think let me just say this. I know people like to say Black women are not feminine and all these other things. I disagree. I would say Black women for so long did not have a safe space where they could be vulnerable, where they could say, I'm hurting, where they could say, like, I have pain. They were unable to verbalize or even show these things. Now, when I mentioned, the whole thing about being a damsel, a damsel is by definition a young unmarried woman. Now, like I said, it's a little tongue in cheek, it's almost a little clickbaity, but I think you get the point. Are they becoming damsels? Now, this is the thing. A damsel, or rather, what I say, a damsel in distress. So when you talk about a damsel in distress, it implies that, they're going to be rescued by a man. I would say this. I'm not so sure if they're becoming damsels in distress. I will say they are definitely, you know, I don't know. Or let me say this. They are at the point now where they are showing that vulnerability. I'm not so sure if they're being rescued. I think they're self-rescuing right now. They're just saying, no, I can't do this anymore. If you look at the type of content that's being put out on, I believe like Instagram and I don't know, maybe even TikTok. I don't know. It's kind of weird. If you look at the content that they're putting out, and I want you guys to catch this. I see this a lot. Maybe it's just what's coming in my feed. I think there's this thing called like Black Women's Health Therapy for Black girls, etc. Much of what is being shown is more about like taking care of yourself or some of the financial stuff. The Black women who are about taking care of themselves out there on some of these platforms, they're looking at their financial health, their physical health. Let me take this off. This is annoying. And their mental health. Okay. And when they put this stuff out there in the media, what they're not doing is they're not bringing anybody else into it. There's not a whole finger pointing or anything. What they're saying is, I'm going to try to take charge of my physical, financial, and mental health. And they're trying to figure it out. They're trying to figure it out. Um, and I like that. I mean, when I see that that type of thing is happening, they're not bringing anyone else into it. They're not blaming anybody else for anything. They're just saying, this is what I'm going to do to take care of myself because I'm crying. Like what I'm seeing, how I'm interpreting it is, I am crying. I want your help, but you're not, no one's coming to help me. No one's coming to rescue me. So I have to take care of myself. So are they going to be rescued by, I'm going to say men? That's what, a damsel in distress implies. I don't get that. Right now, I do think, there is a gender war going on now. For some of you who know me, you knew me previously as the Loud Thinker. I did a podcast earlier this year, and it was called The Gender War. You can go check it out. If not, well, it's actually probably all under the Black Opinionated Woman now. But if you go to season 1, and I believe it is episode 6 or 7, I can't remember. I talk about the gender war, and then I had a panel on. And I eventually said, no, there is no gender war. I am actually eating crow. I think there is some form of a gender war. So Black women are probably not, I'm guessing, they are, I guess they're at the point where it's like no one's coming, no one's listening, no one's, especially our Black men, they're not hearing us. Now, I know logically that Black men in totality are not like, we hate Black women. I don't think that. But there's a perception out there that Black men, have beef with them. And many of them do actually. I mean, there's a reason why you have all these crazy spaces with the angry Black women, feminists. I don't even know what we're calling it. I think I'm calling it the sisterhood, but that's so fractured. And then don't get me started on the whacked out uh, red pill manosphere. Like I've never those clowns over there. I mean, like somebody just give them some poon. They just want some of the good good. Their whole thing is about getting bees and hoes, and they're the Black women are the reason why everything's wrong with them. It's just a lot. But so when you have Black women who have been crying out, listen to me, and you're going unheard, what happens is you start trying to take care of yourself. So in that podcast, another podcast, I talked about how Black women, there was a pendulum shift to one side when they felt like they were abandoned, right? And so they had to go get all the education, acquire housing, and acquire finances and children and all this other stuff. And then because they were left to take care of these children alone, then they got beat up for it. They got bodied up. They got bodied up. Then after all of that, when they started to come back, they were like, okay, well, how do we take care of ourselves? You want us to be more feminine, but you don't even like us. So that's how I interpret it. I would love to hear what people thought. I would love to hear the comments. I think I don't know. Let me see. I could try to see how do I post this thing. I keep forgetting to post this. I would love for people to chime in. I got about 5 minutes. Maybe somebody would be willing to come on for 5 minutes. But, the point I'm making with Black women is they're starting to show a level of vulnerability. They're starting to show that they're stressed. They're starting to show that bad behavior in relationships do bother them. They're starting to show that, you know what, yes, we are great at our chosen sport, but stop expecting us to carry the entire nation on our shoulders all the time. All right. So I'll just end with this. Do I think Black men like damsels. I'm not a man. Um, I would venture to say that maybe our black men probably want a little bit of a damsel in distress. I think they want to feel like they can come in and offer up protection and all of the things. But this is what I would say. Most women would be willing to allow men to do those things if they actually showed that they were capable of doing it. I think right now Black women are having a lot of trust problems because for so long um, they could not rely on men to do those things for them. Now, don't get me wrong. I think women should be highly capable of providing for themselves, but not have a problem if a man wants to do it for them. Anyway, look, I'm sorry I added this link late into this stream. I got to get better with doing that. But anyway, let me know your thoughts. I saw a couple people jump on and jump off, but I got to get better at like reading stuff or just posting things or inviting people to come on. Hopefully, you enjoyed this little short little stream. Um, if you can, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment. It definitely helps out. I am a small presence out here, so I would really like to listen to your feedback. Tell me what you think. Tell me the kinds of things that you want me to talk about. Um, and that's pretty much it. So I'm getting ready to sign off because it is Saturday and um, I don't feel like talking anymore. I think I've said what I needed to say. I mean, the Saturdays are busy in this house. So, all right, guys, have a really good rest of your Saturday.